like a bracer, crashing up the neighborhood. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, 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 I'm a round round the blocker, rounding everyone I know. Oh, it feels so good. Round the block I go, watching everyone I know, sniffing every single seat, running fast, can't be beat. Pedal power in my veins, laughing through the summer rains. Not a care, no need to hide, I'm the waker with bike pride. I'm a bike waker, sniffing seats like a bracer, crashing up the neighborhood. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, 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 I'm a round the blocker, rounding everyone I know. Oh, it feels so good. Rounding round the block I go, watching everyone I know, sniffing every single seat, riding fast, can't be beat. Pedal power in my veins, laughing through the summer rains. Not a care, no need to hide, I'm the waker with my pride. I'm a bike waker, sniffing seats like a bracer, crashing up the neighborhood. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, 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 let it rack up in my veins, laughing through the summer rains. Not a care, no need to hide, I'm the waker with my pride.
It's Friday night and we're all in.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to All In. How Ed? How you doing? How Ed?
I'm
you
certainly
doing?
ready to rumble.
Excellent.
I've had some gin and
Excellent.
tonics and some wine, so yeah.
Well, this is my first beer. I don't start drinking till the show starts.
I have to have a drink after work. It's the law.
Right.
Finish work, go to the supermarket, get my shopping, come back, have a gin and tonic.
Quite
Standard Friday.
Quite right. So it's like the weeks just run into each other now. So we did play Bike Wankers, and we had to play Bike Wankers because Jeremy Vile has hung up his video camera. I don't think it helped that his bike got stolen as well. Sorry, I'm laughing, but I can't stand the man. He's a sanctimonious little prick. But yeah, so he's hung up his video camera because of the threats that he's received on Twitter. And you know, if you weren't such a turd, such a low life scumbag, you probably wouldn't have received those threats. But yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I mean, I'm gonna miss those videos. I did like to mock him, but
I have so little time for Jeremy Vine that I just don't really care. I think I blocked him years ago anyway.
yeah.
But it's just this obnoxious, self-righteous, sanctimonious little shitebag, and I think that's the only reason he has the job that he's got is because he's just sanctimonious.
Yeah, and you know, I find him disturbing. There's something disturbing about him. But
I think he's a reflection of the general disturbing nature of the country. Frankly, he sort of represents this specific class of people that probably turned their neighbours in for having one too many people over during COVID and not wearing a mask and all that kind of thing.
Him and Cycling and Mikey are probably, they've done cyclists no good whatsoever. No good whatsoever.
None. But there's quite a few of those. I mean, there seems to be a subset because it's not all people that ride bicycles. Because I'm not trying to disparage.
No, it's not all of them. It's just the majority.
Well, no, there's a subset of them that are the ones that
wear lycra.
Well, yeah, the ones that shave their legs, wear lycra, and refuse to use the bike lane.
Yeah, that's them.
And cycle in the road on a Sunday.
The mammals, as we call them.
But yeah, the shows, there's always a strange sense of deja vu.
Yeah.
Although it just seems to get more insane. Every single show that we've done so far in 2025 has just, the subject matter has just got more mental.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go. So Trump wore a blue suit to the Pope's funeral. I think there was a bit of color management going on in some of these photographs, because when you looked at it on TV, it certainly wasn't a black suit. It was a dark blue suit, but it wasn't as light blue as it was in some of the photographs. But see that photograph underneath Trump, this one here, this big one, right? I'll blow it up a little because it's not like he was alone and wearing a blue suit. There's an awful lot of blue in that photograph, isn't there?
Including our own heir to the throne.
And Biden.
Wilhelm. Yep. Oh, he was even there? I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, Biden was about 4 rows behind Donald, I think. 4 or 5 rows. The media will
use... I'm by no means a fan of Trump. I think he's made some absolutely diabolical decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think he's the president of peace that he wanted to claim. But the media, they have to have any excuse to jump on him because nobody said anything about Zelensky not even wearing a bloody suit.
No, I know. But, you know, nobody is because Trump pulled him up for it, for not wearing a suit to the White House. So it's obviously... It's a media Democrat thing that, you know, any opportunity where they can rubbish Trump's suit, they will. Now, I don't even know why we're talking about suits. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because
given the state of the world, given the number of problems that we've got in the world, and given the other things that the media don't talk about at all, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just a pile of nonsense, really.
I know. I don't know. It's like Dave says this year is flying. I don't know where the time's going. I mean, that's nearly 5 months done. Well, we're in the 5th month. You know, another 6 weeks, and it's going to be halfway through the year. That's just mental.
The thing is that it seems to be a general thing. I did a shout out about it on Twitter a while ago, and pretty much every single response was agreeing. And so I was like, okay, was it just because I'm getting older? And a few people who had kids said, no, my 12-year-old said the same thing. And I find it really perplexing. Now, geologically speaking, the planet has actually sped up ever so fractionally, like milliseconds.
Yeah, okay.
Which doesn't, I don't know. I just can't explain it. Does that much of an increase in the speed of the planet have such a dramatic impact on human perception?
No,
who knows?
I don't think it does.
But the thing is, time passing. I mean, there are standard things like when you go on holiday, time always flies, and then when you come back and you're waiting for the next holiday, time always drags. But it's usually because you're doing something or whatever. But it just seems to be time generally seems to have speeded up, and I can't explain it.
It does. Anyway, back to Trump. So I'm a bit disappointed in Trump because, well, I am and I amn't. Amn't? Is that a word?
Aren't.
Yeah, I am and I amn't.
Amn't is not a word.
I know, but I'm going to use it.
I know you're Glaswegian.
I'm going to use it now.
That's fine. It's Scottish prerogative to make words
I find out today that Yuki Tsunoda, you know how he moved to, well, I don't know if you know, but he moved to Red Bull to replace Liam Lawson because Liam Lawson was rubbish. And so Yuki Tsunoda's got his chance. He's in Red Bull, and his race engineer is Scottish. So they don't even speak Japlish. They're having to speak Japish. He even called it out in the press conference saying it's a bit of a learning curve. Imagine giving a Japanese guy a Scottish race engineer. That's hilarious. That's just hilarious. You know, make my life hard. Put me in a car that nobody except Max Verstappen can actually drive, and then give me a Scottish race engineer. That's true. Somebody's got a sense of humour at Red Bull. They got to have. Harold says, I wish you'd stopped the decoy
I don't really have much
stream.
comment on Formula One.
It's not a decoy stream, Harold. It's for those who watch it on phones and vertical format. It's not a decoy, Harold. And it says quite plainly in the title, vertical. It's not my fault if you have difficulty reading.
It's also being done for YouTube exposure because...
Yeah. Hello, Harold. It's good to see you. And hello, Emma. You're on the vertical stream, Emma. But that's fine. If you want to stay there, I have no problem. Britmate says it's a decoy just set up to get Harold off of the chat. Imagine if we made a whole stream just for Harold.
No.
That's cruel. We would never do that, Harold. We love you, mate. We love you. We love all our viewers, even the haters.
Well, it's done in an attempt. It's done in an attempt to manipulate the YouTube algorithm into putting us in front of some eyeballs.
Yeah, and sometimes it works. Sometimes we get thousands of views. I'm not saying they're if you're on the vertical stream and you like what you see, come and join us on the horizontal because you get a better experience. You get to see more because the slides are bigger. Anyway, right, where were we? Did you see this? Did you see the procession with the pointy hats, the cones on their heads? There, they looked a bit like the Democrats when they started a club over in the Deep South. Remember that? You remember? Because it was the Democrats that started that club.
Yes, well, it was that club that liked doing beastly things to black people.
Yeah. Right.
But
Anyway,
didn't that post get community noted as not being part of the Pope's funeral? Or was it some Easter procession in Spain or something?
I don't know. It was interesting anyway. Whatever it was, I liked it. Anyway, let's move on. So Donald J. Trump just this week, in fact yesterday I think, said all purchases of Iranian and oil or petrochemical products must stop. Who's this directed at? Ed?
Well, let's just track this one back. Who buys roughly 80% of Iran's oil?
China.
China. Who is currently under massive sanctions, massive tariffs. China, who really positively doesn't care what Donald Trump says. Oh, China. Literally, I mean, this whole Iran thing is totally mental. If he actually is stupid enough to go into Iran and bomb Iran or attack Iran or whatever, then I mean, what last vestiges of respect I might have had from him will be gone. He needs to stop listening to neocons.
And he sacked. Who did he sack?
Waltz.
So he sacked.
Well,
Waltz,
Waltz has been demoted. Waltz has been sentenced to the place where political careers go to die, which is a U.S. representative to the UN.
Yeah. So Waltz has been sacked, and Rubio's been given his job. So Rubio now wears 4 hats, I think.
I thought it was just 2.
No, I think it's more than that. But anyway, I don't understand why you would keep putting stuff on Rubio. Do you want him to fail? Because he never strikes me as the most, thinks on his... He doesn't strike me as a quick thinker. He doesn't seem to think on his feet. He likes to be prepared, He's not very good at giving back impromptu answers.
He's also a neocon through and through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find that whole clique really disturbing.
Right. Moving on. So I believe you guys had a little election yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, and although I can't say that reform is anything other than the Uniparty's B plan, it's very satisfying watching Labour get absolutely thumped because they didn't win Runcorn, which has been a safe Labour seat for donkeys, and the previous the Mike Amesbury, the one that got booted out for punching a constituent, which is never a particularly good look when you're in politics.
Indeed. Although avoided jail.
Well, Reform won that seat, and they've won large numbers of council seats in the places that had council elections.
This was mainly local authority elections, was it?
Yeah, it's mainly local authorities and the Runcorn constituency. I don't think there were any other constituencies up for grabs. Mm-hmm. But it was a proper drubbing. And what's worse is that Starmer he gave this he went to a defense contractor, spent a whole lot of time talking about drones in Ukraine. And then in an interview afterwards said, yes, well, I'm not going to try and downplay it. We need to move faster. So his whole plan is to double down on policies that are breathtakingly unpopular.
And when the socialist worker has a headline that says we can't trust Starmer, this isn't the Labour Party anymore, is it?
Well, they're certainly not socialist in any way, shape or form. I think he booted all the socialists out when he got rid of Corbyn.
What are they then? Are they fascists? Authoritarians?
Certainly starting to look like it.
Tyrannicists?
Neo-Marxist authoritarian tyrants? I mean, Starmer's just a globalist tool, basically.
Yeah. No, that wasn't Ed again, Brett, mate. That was Ben. You should fucking know better. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's to be honest, it was the election result was largely predictable, and hopefully some of the people under Starmer in the Labour Party will realise that they're not going to do well at the next election. I mean, Starmer is going to single-handedly destroy the Labour Party if he's not careful.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit confused though, because all these people that are lauding reform, I mean, weren't all the MPs that reform had former Tories?
Pretty much. And I mean, the way that reform treated Rupert Lowe and the way that Nigel Farage has been running the party,
Yeah.
I think are not something that I would be inclined to vote for. But at the same time, the population is pissed off and don't really have any alternatives. And frankly, I'd rather they vote for reform than the Greens, because the Greens are just even worse. But it just goes to show the utter diabolical state of politics in the UK, in Britain, particularly England, let's say, even though I'm talking to a Scottish person. But then Scottish politics, I'm pretty much in the toilet as well. So, but
Scottish politics is the uni-party state, really, in effect, because you've got Labour or SNP. That's a problem, and both of them are destined to run the country into the ground.
It's crazy, and at the minute that anybody comes along that tries to actually make a difference, they get summarily booted out or prosecuted or whatever. They just the system finds a way of getting rid of them. They get smeared in some way, shape, or form.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. We don't have any choices.
Shall we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Speaking of choices, you're getting less in Germany, apparently. Well, it's looking like they're going to try and ban this party, which sounds a bit crazy because they were pretty close to winning, actually, weren't they?
Well, they've just for the first time topped the SPD in polls. That happened like last couple of days, which is where this, because the reason that they've been designated an extremist entity is essentially so that the German state can start spying on them massively, like phone surveillance and electronic surveillance and everything else.
The kind of thing that we'd expect from a Central American junta?
It would be the kind of thing that was done in the 1930s.
Isn't this the kind of thing that certain big central former Soviet bloc country did to its opposition? In
Absolutely.
fact, I think the guy's still in jail, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, we've got, I mean...
Isn't this the kind of thing that... Yeah, Romania. Tell me about Romania.
Well, they detained that RT journalist a couple of days ago, and he's been PNG'd out and sent to Istanbul or wherever.
Yeah.
But it's just a general... It shows you what kind of state Europe is in.
But Romania's they've also cracked down on their opposition party as well, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they cancelled presidential elections and cracking down on opposition parties. I mean, Romania is not exactly the paragon of freedom and democracy, but at the same time, I think a lot of these instructions, if the EU had insisted that things were free and fair, then things would be free and fair. And if the EU encouraged them to clamp down on dissent, because the thing is that what people have to realize about Romania is that they're currently building an absolutely gigantic military base for NATO in Romania. And they plan to use it it is one of the staging points for weapons and stuff going into Ukraine. So it's completely tied up in the whole Ukraine-Russia thing as well. But it's a sign of a general malaise in Europe, that Europe is turning into this fascist, totalitarian, authoritarian nightmare, Orwellian dystopia.
Right, I'm moving on.
Move on.
Andrea Jenkins, reform, says tents should be good enough for asylum seekers in Britain. And why shouldn't they? Because that's what France does. And France is a member of the EU, a founder member of the EU, complies with the European Court of Human Rights, I would imagine. So if it's good enough for them in France, why is it not good enough here?
Well, because thanks to our dear leader, Keir Starmer, who in 2003, as a lawyer, fought and won a case that gives migrants and refugees benefits.
Yeah.
So they automatically get housing and NHS and everything else. And I mean, I don't understand why they're not just taken to France or just put into big camps or something and start shipping them off on airplanes.
Well, they should just be, if they are genuine asylum seekers, they should just be happy that they've got a roof over their head, right? So they should just be. What was wrong with putting them in the old barracks? It was good enough for soldiers. Why wasn't it good enough for these guys? You know, this is what gets me. We are too freaking soft in this country. Way too soft.
Well, there's a certain subsection of the political class that seem to actually want these people to come into the country and dilute. I mean, because Tony Blair talked about it, and it's all Kalergi plan and rabbit hole type stuff. But at the moment, they're just costing money. I think that the total benefits bill for migrants is topping £1 billion.
Yeah, I think the idea that Blair had was that these guys would pay for our pensions when we got older, you know, because we weren't making enough kids. But that's just
but they're more on benefits than the rest.
Well,
of
exactly.
us.
So that's never going to pan out, Tony. It just didn't work, you know. You were wrong then, you're wrong now, and you're always going to be wrong because basically you were a war criminal and you got away with it.
And he's also responsible for assaulting the Constitution, changing the relationship between the judiciary and Parliament and all the quangos, Ofcom, Ofwat, Ofgem. They're all creations of Blair. And he also instigated the proper privatisation of the NHS as well, by the back door.
Yeah, these guys aren't UN soldiers. These guys aren't. They're no use. They would be no use in a fight. Have you seen them? You know, yeah. You could blow them, most of them, over. And in fact, that does happen on occasion. Anyway, let's move on before we get into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Federal District Judge Jennifer Thurston sends out an order banning Border Patrol from arresting illegal aliens without a warrant. Well, what nonsense is this? This is just nonsense.
This is the lawfare. This is happening. It's been happening a lot since Trump got elected, where they're trying to use these left-leaning Democrat judges, a lot of them put in place by Joe Biden and people like that, to essentially try and undo what Trump is trying to do, which is get people who are not supposed to be in the country out of the country.
Yep.
And it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts but it also seems to be quite common, because if you look at our own judiciary, it seems to have been captured by similar forces. It's like someone, hint George Soros, has been paying for people of a certain political persuasion to be put into judicial positions. And once you have these judges in place, it's very difficult to do anything about them, it seems.
I know. Right, moving on. Lou Elizondo has really done it this time, hasn't he? So he produces this photograph, and you see at bottom left there, it appears to be a giant flying saucer taken by a private pilot, and it's reckoned to be 600 to 1,000 feet across. Yeah, it is, because it's an irrigation field. and it only took 2 hours for people to debunk this photograph. And now Lou's contention as a big boy gave him that and ran away, right? And he brought this up in front of Congress. Why would you do this? The guy's a freaking liability.
Well,
I mean, there's an optical illusion.
Yeah,
that's not a flying carpet. You know, that's not a flying carpet, people.
I think he's essentially an agent of chaos. He's been put in to discredit genuine researchers or people that are at least trying to do
I don't think he is.
some solid research.
I think he's in it for himself, and he's just an incompetent
Well, that too,
asshole.
obviously.
I think he's an incompetent asshole and always has been. That's why he didn't get to run ATIP. That's why he wasn't ever involved in any UFO or UAP oversight groups or research. Anything he did on his own bat from his desk in his lunchtime. That's what happened, and he just won't accept it.
No.
You know, that's the guy's he's a liability, isn't he?
Yes, he really is. I mean, certainly to the UFO community for sure, because he just makes everyone else look bad.
Speaking
but
of
also the
stupid,
fact that he keeps getting platformed as well.
Yeah, but speaking of stupid, UFO community, if it's a community, I mean, what is these communities? But anyway, the people that like UFOs, they don't do themselves any favor. This guy made an animated photo, i.e. a video. He made a fake video of the picture that Lou Elizondo showed, right? Bringing it to life with motion. Here's my take on that in motion. This doesn't do anyone any favors either, because people are going to start putting that around saying, look, it's real. Remember the flying egg underneath the helicopter? Never heard any more about that.
Buying Lou Elizondo's books.
Yeah. Do you remember? Remember there was supposed to be a UFO meeting on Wednesday, I think it was, at Congress, but David Grush never bothered turning up. It's just a joke. The whole thing's a complete and utter. And then this guy, Eric Davis, he turns around and says there's 4 types of aliens. There's Nordics, reptilians, insectoids, and greys. And it's like, says who? Says you? That's because that's all the evidence he's got. Says me, yeah. It really is absolute. I mean, when you dig into this stuff, you don't even need to dig. All you need to do is, you don't even scratch the surface. You don't even peel back a blanket. All you do is actually look, and it's all freaking nonsense. And it's so disappointing. You know, when all your life you've investigated these things and wanted to believe in, you know, I want to believe, just like Fox Mulder, and then you find out it's all a load of shite. And then these old farts start producing statements and crappy photos and Skinwalker Ranch. And I mean, the whole thing's a freaking mess, and there's nothing there. Just nothing there. It's just entertainment. And if you treat it as entertainment, that's fine. But these guys aren't. They're fucking grafting and getting people all on board. And then you end up with people fighting with each other all over Twitter. End rant.
All right, let's move on.
Yep.
You got that out of your system now.
I've got that out of my system.
I was expecting it because I did share a Lou Elizondo slide, so I knew you were going to go off on one.
So, Jeremy Vine, as we said at the beginning of the show, Jeremy Vine, stopping cycling videos as presenter. He's only 59. By God, I thought he was older than that. As presenter, upset by trolling and death threats. It did get to me. There's his latest. There's his latest award as a bike wanker.
I mean, the thing is that they always say, "Oh, death threats." I mean, I've seen plenty of people slagging him off, but I've never seen anyone making death threats against it.
They weren't death threats. What they said, it was people on Twitter saying, "I hope it would be great if the person making the video had wiped you out." You know, these aren't death threats. These are stupid things that people say. And in fact, sometimes people get the fucking jail for saying things like that. Like 2.5 years in the jail. Don't they, Ed?
Yep.
When it's just
absolutely
an idle fucking
even if they delete the tweet a few hours later after they've gone out for a walk and thought better of it, and they come back and take it back, they can still get locked up for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we not talk about Jeremy Vine anymore? 'Cause-
No, let's not. These guys are going to trial on June the 30th. Remember them? Manchester Airport.
Which
These are the guy that broke the policewoman's nose.
right? Yes.
Right. So they're going to
Yes.
trial on June the 30th. Just so you know.
How much do we want to bet they get let off? Slap on the wrist, suspended sentence, care in the community, or
What
whatever.
the fuck? Hold on a minute. What the fuck? Is this a wind up?
Is what to wind up.
Right. There's chat come up on the other one saying YouTube chat service. Is this real? Saying
YouTube
we've
chat service.
community guideline breaches. What is this nonsense? Is this?
Community guideline breaches.
If you cannot, please end this live immediately and add an apology post to your community page. Failure to take action will result in a channel strike. Is this real?
Well, that's not how YouTube works.
I didn't think so.
Well, no, because the last time we got into trouble, they just take the stream down. We don't get stuff in chat.
Yeah, but we haven't done anything.
Exactly.
There's no community guideline. We haven't breached any community guidelines.
Well, if we had done, the stream would, like when we got done for the copyright, the stream would get taken down. They don't. I've never known YouTube to start posting stuff in chat. That's absurd.
Yeah,
frankly.
I'm going to report that and see if it's real or not, because I don't think this is real.
No, doesn't look like it.
I've never seen anything like it.
Bizarre. Right, so who was it that said, yeah, I agree with Brit, mate, about the chap on the left.
Right, where are we?
Let's move on.
Right. Russell Brand appealed the Westminster Magistrates Court today and for facing his charges, and was, what was I going to say? And was, what the hell was I going to say? And was given bail. So he's been charged with serious 2 counts of sexual assault, indecent assault, and another count of rape, and relating to 4 separate women, and he was given bail.
This just, this is just like Julian Assange redux. Mm-hmm. Because I think these allegations are multiple years old as well. It's not, it's not like something happened.
They're like 25 years old, mate.
Well, exactly. I mean, yeah. So I don't have a huge amount of time for Russell Brand, and I don't trust anyone who managed to keep their YouTube channel through COVID, despite talking about stuff that would get other channels nailed very quickly. So I don't trust him at all. But this is just another bloody witch hunt. Now, are they sheep dipping him? Are they trying to give him more credibility in alternative circles or something? I don't know. And frankly, I've got much better things to do with my time than think about Russell Brand. It's just, yeah.
Yep.
But again, I mean, it's lawfare. They shouldn't. The thing is that they'll ignore like much more serious allegations against more famous people because that person is part of the in crowd, like Jimmy Savile, for example. And then for someone they don't like, they can just dredge up stuff that's 25 years old. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just removing these messages from this.
So also, if those are genuine, why aren't they on the horizontal stream?
Yeah, I know. I don't think they are genuine.
It's just a scam. People being douchebags.
I'm going to hide this user from the channel.
What's the next slide?
Right. The next slide is Virginia Guiffre. Now, that Virginia Guiffre died quite recently. And this is the woman that accused Prince Andrew of sexual impropriety of some kind or another.
But she's also the woman in the as a young lady in a picture with Prince Andrew and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
So it's not just some random. There is actually evidence that they met. And yeah, I mean, she very sadly died by suicide. Now, obviously, the internet was instantly, Virginia didn't kill herself and Epstein and all that kind of thing. Now, we have to say straight up that we don't know. We don't know whether it was a genuine suicide or not.
Well, yeah, we don't.
But Ryan Dawson, he was following his tweets just after it happened. Mm-hmm. I found his probably the more balanced of the commentaries that were happening on it. And he also knows the people involved. He's interviewed her, that kind of thing. Now, there's also been, I think the lawyer broke ranks and said she doesn't think it was a suicide. The family all think it was a suicide. And I mean, who are we to tell? But we know that she was in an accident and that she'd also had a relationship breakup because her husband and kids, I don't know what happened with the relationship side of things. And they found some sort of kidney issues after the accident. The accident didn't cause the problems with the kidneys, but apparently when she went into hospital, the doctors realized that her kidneys were failing. Now, it's all very, very suspicious and convenient. Now, it could well be just a suicide, or it could be the other type of suicide that's not a suicide. And I mean, she was only like 41 or something. So it's tragic. I mean, her whole life was tragic from, I mean, being abused on Epstein Island and then actually being one of the people who was instrumental in bringing Epstein down because she didn't shut up about it. And she caused her own set of problems for our royal family, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's just really sad. And I think that when something like that happens, it's easy to kind of start jumping to conclusions and saying, oh, she didn't kill herself or anything like that. And I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I don't know what happened. I just think it's a tragic end to what seems like it was a pretty tragic life.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of these things that, you know, people are posting messages from 6 years ago where she's saying, you know, under no circumstances would I ever consider, you know, taking my own or ending my own life. And that's that was 6 years ago. You know, things change.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's move on. Peter Sweden, who lives in Norway, which I find quite interesting, quite ironic. But anyway, Peter Sweden here, a Swedish pensioner in her 70s, sold homemade bread and sandwiches on Facebook to make some extra income. Now the Swedish court just sentenced her to prison for this crime because her kitchen wasn't approved. Well, yeah, and they would do the same here, mate. They would do the same here, mate.
Well, the Americans, I've heard of kids with lemonade stands in the US being closed down because they didn't have the right permit.
Yeah.
This is part of the problem with society, Europe more especially.
Yeah.
But how can you claim to be a free society if you're not even if you have to have an approved kitchen to make up a bit of bread? I mean,
why do you think we're
it's
in a
crazy
free society?
Well, I'm not saying that we are, but they claim it is.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is if you listen to the politicians, they're always talking about freedom and democracy and all that
But
nonsense.
we don't live in a free country. We don't, just count up on a daily basis how many things you need to have permission to do, And when you think about it, it's quite a lot. You need permission to live in your house. Even if you own your house, you need to keep asking for permission to keep living there by paying tax. Because just try and see how long you manage to live in your house if you stop paying your council tax, regardless of whether you own it or not.
Absolutely, yeah. It's completely crazy. And then when you see the state of the council and the amount of money that they waste on just nonsense, that just pissed me off. Let's move on.
It's the Houthis. We need to speak about our favorite Yemeni military group. Well, I don't know.
A little jingle or something.
Yeah, I'll need to do something.
How's it with the Houthis?
Yeah, something like that. I'll need to do a little jingle.
I love those guys. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is that you've got one of the least developed, poorest nations on earth that is just holding its own against the might of the US Navy. And today's, the most recent one is an F-18 fighter falling off the deck of the Harry Truman.
Yes,
because it had to turn evasively to.
Well, it didn't fall off the deck; it fell off the hangar. It was because it was under.
It rolled off, basically.
Yeah, it rolled off, but it wasn't. It was on the deck downstairs, and it rolled off because apparently it turned too tight or something like that, or there was some kind of other issue or something. No, I mean the ship had turned and tilted, yeah, but but
it was being transported. It was being moved from the elevator to wherever it was supposed to be parked, and the crew weren't able to secure it in time, and they managed. I mean, fortunately, no one actually went down with it.
Yeah, I believe one sailor was injured though.
But I actually, because I did a little bit of research on it, because I thought, can an aircraft carrier actually do a tight turn? And surprisingly, those things are capable, because they have two propeller shafts. So and because they're combat warships, they do have to be able to maneuver. So you'd be surprised how quickly those things can turn. I was shocked.
Surprised. You would be surprised indeed, mate. They can turn quite quickly. But the problem you've got is the US 6th Fleet here, I think it's the 6th Fleet that's in the Pacific. They're operating in conditions that these battle groups were never designed to operate in, because you don't put an aircraft battle group in a confined sea space, and that's exactly where they are, because there's no room for these guys to maneuver. You don't want them in the Gulf, and even worse, you don't want them further up, towards, this is the Red Sea. You don't want them in the Gulf, because that's even worse, because that's shallow as well. It's just, it's a nightmare scenario for the Navy. I don't even know why they're putting themselves as close as that, because they don't need to. These things have got a strike range of 1,800 kilometers.
But it's also because it's the political leadership are not listening to the military leadership. Because if you I listened to a podcast that Judge Napolitano did with Larry Wilkerson, who's a former case colonel, and he was in the State Department, and he worked for Colin Powell, and he was involved in Desert Storm, and has a lot of relevant military experience.
Yeah.
And that was what he said. He said these aircraft carrier, they're not being used in the way that they're supposed to be used, and they're essentially being put in harm's way for propaganda purposes.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening.
And they're getting their asses kicked.
Indeed, they are. Right, now we have these clowns in Brazil. Lady Gaga is apparently playing in Brazil. And,
I know we missed that one. Hang on, no, you missed one. We missed one Houthi story.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah,
that
that died.
the OS. Yeah,
Right,
that was a Dutch
Yeah.
OS int.
Right,
like
so
open
OS
source
stands
intelligence.
for open source intelligence. Yeah. So this guy posted this on Twitter saying he thought it was she posted this on Twitter, stroke X, saying she thought this was an underground base. And then the US hits it with a bomb. Or it bombs the houses next to it. And it turns out it's a quarry.
Yeah.
This is just madness.
Well, it's also from the perspective of where the hell is the US getting their intelligence? I mean, is there intel on Yemen so bad that they have people trawling the internet looking for potential targets in Yemen? And I mean, it's craziness.
It's crazy.
It's like amateur hour. But then the other problem that the Americans have got is that the Houthis keep shooting their Reapers out of the sky. The MQ-9 Reaper drones that they use to surveil and blow things up. I think Ansar Allah's destroyed 22 of them now. I don't know if it's gone up since the last time I heard, but it was 22 last time I checked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
They're like they're $30 million a pop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on. So we're now going to Brazil, where Lady Gaga is playing, and people are literally having psychotic episodes on the pavement outside her hotel, begging her to come out and see them. I mean, this woman was screaming, Gaga, Gaga, Gaga. These people have lost it. They have lost it. What?
Well,
how do you get to the state where you have descended to the point where you are on all fours or lying on the ground shouting Gaga?
Have you seen those old videos from the 1960s of when the Beatles toured America?
Yeah,
and they go up on stage and they're trying to play music and you literally can't hear anything because every single woman in the audience is screaming.
Yeah.
It's marketing partially.
It was like a Katy Perry rocket flight.
Yeah, I mean, but Lady Gaga, there's also a lot of dark stuff because she's connected to Marina Abramovich, and there is some kind of darkness with that, but it's also just people being stupid.
That's just I mean,
anyone that wants to writhe around on the floor how is it that your life is so small and meaningless that someone like Lady Gaga gives your life meaning, and if she doesn't come out of her hotel to like wave at you, you're going to lose your complete rag. I mean, the world is completely mental. I hadn't actually spotted this particular story because I don't really follow the entertainment or showbiz news or anything, but it's properly bonkers.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. These people are nuts. And it's not just Lady Gaga, as you said.
She looks like her baby's just died or something. I mean, literally, she looks like she's had some major life crisis happen. Oh, she's just collapsed to the floor.
She appears to be in a really distraught state. It's not a bloke. Chill out, Brit, mate. Right, so this one's quite insidious. Speaking about insidiousness, the invisible puppet masters.
This one is properly what University of Zurich researchers created AI bots, which they put into Reddit to try and change people's minds about arguments. And what's more shocking than the fact that they did it was how successful it was and how easy people were to manipulate and actually have their opinions changed just by using essentially psychological techniques on them. It's worth actually looking up Mario's tweet and reading the whole thread because
I have read it.
I was talking to the audience, not you. I know you've read it.
6 times more effective than if humans had been doing it, apparently.
Yeah.
6
Absolutely
times
crazy.
better than if they tried to do it themselves. That's incredible. Now, this is the kind of thing that's been employed against us in the West, regarding things like the Ukraine special operation, Russian special operation, but it's being employed by the West on us. Things like NAFO and people like that, along with their attendant bots, are trying to change people's perception of what's actually going on. And
they've been trying to do that since,
but they've got to the point
since 2020. But now we've got AI involved.
If you try and have a conversation with Grok about NAFO, it thinks NAFO are the good guys. It really does.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that shows you the state of AI, i.e., it isn't intelligent at all. Because NAFO are a bunch of bullying twats.
Well, it's been programmed. I mean, AI is the ultimate garbage in, garbage out machine. And I mean, we'll call it AI, but let's get this straight. They're large language models.
It's not intelligent.
They're not artificially intelligent in the sense that we are actually thinking artificial intelligence. They pass the Turing test quite easily. And if you put Alan Turing in a chat conversation with ChatGPT, it would think he was talking to a person.
Yeah.
But that just means the Turing test has got to be updated. But
yeah, it does.
It's you have to look at everything. I mean, you've always had to question everything, but now you have to question it even more because the psychological techniques that they're using, that they've programmed these bots with, are really scary because you can have your mind manipulated by a machine without even realizing it. There's actually a really good video about this. There's a channel on YouTube called Homath, H-O-E. And he's done an hour-long interview with a chap that used to work in psychological operations, and they break it down. I mean, it's worth looking up that video, giving it a watch, because it shows you what you need to watch out for.
Yeah. And
also Reddit is a cesspit, and just stay off it.
Yeah, it can be. It certainly can be. Right, moving on. I was going to put this in the funnies, but I don't think it's that funny. It says the first and last time that Kevin asked for a lift to nursery, but that's disturbing. It's disturbing that people let themselves get into this condition, and I understand how you can get to a point where you start to become fat, but how do they let themselves get so far down the road?
I don't understand it, and it also seems to be. I mean, but apart from anything else, there are people who enable it. Yeah, but it's dietary. It's like, yeah, you should exercise more, but people getting into that.
You are what you eat. It's not exercise. This is purely food.
Precisely. But if you see what some of them put away, it's just you struggle to understand. But then if you look at society and the kind of effect that the media and all the advertising and all the messaging has on people, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, mate. Crazy. Right, moving on. 6 days ago, Spain bragged about how their energy grid was running 100% on renewable energy. Today, the entire country, plus most of Portugal and parts of France, was plunged into darkness in one of Europe's worst blackouts ever. It could take a week to get power on all the way. Some of the headlines there, right? Let me finish. Some of the headlines there, as you can see, Spain hits first weekday of 100% renewable. Renewables behind the catastrophic blackouts in Spain. And then Alistair Campbell wasn't happy. The Daily Telegraph reports net zero being blamed for the blackout chaos. Alistair Campbell, it used to be a newspaper. And then today I thought, I'll just put this little picture up. And I was astounded that nobody commented at all, other than one. Because I put Europe has scenes from space at night. And someone said blinking light pollution. And I'm like, nobody's fucking mentioned the fact that Spain's missing. There's a whole big black area where Spain should be.
But it's certainly one of the biggest stories of the week. I mean, in terms of what caused it, look up Sun Weatherman, because it's most likely it was a combination of the renewables and the Earth's magnetic field. But there's a few key takeaways that I found from it. Number one of the things that surprised me was that people said, despite the fact that all of the traffic lights in Spain stopped working, there are surprisingly few accidents, and it actually seemed to improve people's driving because they're paying attention and taking care of what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think
more aware of what's going on the road, which I thought was fascinating.
It used to be that, especially in America, I don't know if they ever did it in Europe, but it used to be that you used to turn the traffic lights to flashing amber at night, which made everything basically a giveaway, right? So you drive up to a junction and you would, if there was nothing coming, you could go. So you didn't have red and green, you just had flashing amber. And that seemed to work fine in America. And I always thought that would work fine here as well, because we used to drive about on the night shift. It was the 80s and 90s, so there was less traffic, but we used to drive about and there was never any cars on the road, and every traffic light was just a complete waste of space. Why don't we turn traffic lights to flashing amber at night?
Well, there was a Dutch town that did an experiment where they got rid of all the traffic lights, all the street signs, all of it, and they actually found that it decreased the number of accidents because people were paying more attention.
Yeah, because they couldn't fucking have a clue where they were going if you took away all the street signs.
But exactly. But the thing is that it stops. I mean, I'm not talking about directional signs like go here to go there, but stop signs, give way signs, all of that stuff. They got rid of it.
Yeah.
And all of the rules and the directions seem to make people more stupid because they stop thinking themselves and they just follow the signs.
Well, look at sat navs when it tells people to to go down a road that crosses a river and there's no bridge, and they drive into the river. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, absolutely. One has to be careful with the sat nav. One of the other things that I saw on X that was really good was a video from Barcelona where the person posting it actually said, I think we should shut all the power down 2 or 3 times a week, because it was literally just everybody sitting out in the square. They were all talking. There was no bars open because the pumps weren't working, but they all seemed to have drinks.
Yeah, they'd bring their own,
just sitting around talking and doing what people used to do before we had mobile phones.
See, this is where red wine comes in, because it doesn't need to be chilled.
Well, if it's really hot, it's always nice to have it out of the fridge.
Yeah, okay, but tough shit, mate. The fridge ain't working, right?
Well, exactly. Warm red wine is better than warm beer, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, exactly. And warm red wine is better than warm white wine.
But it's also just for people listening that there was 3 things that the Spanish noticed that they needed to have. Number 1, some sort of radio that was battery operated or hand crank, spare batteries and chargers and stuff, and also cash, because obviously when the power goes down, your little plastic card stops working. And the people who had the least problems were the one that had all of those things at home. So it's just the other thing. Tip.
The other thing that somebody posted on X was, it was really useful that so many people in Spain had electric cars because the petrol pumps weren't working. I don't know if it was a parody, but I suspect it wasn't. I mean, how are you going to recharge your electric car? At least with the petrol pump thing, you could actually open the tank, put a hose in, and siphon suck the stuff out. You couldn't do that with electricity.
No, but I don't know. Hopefully the Spanish blackout is going to put a bit of shine a spotlight on some of the big issues that we have with renewables.
Hopefully.
Because it was only 6 days before the blackout that Spain was happy to announce that they were 100% being powered by renewables. But there's issues with that. And it actually makes the grid less stable.
Of course it does.
Because the turbines, they add inertia to the grid, and they can spin up and down to adjust the frequency. But it was also serious because they were about 0.15 hertz away from an entire European electrical shutdown or something, because it's where the frequency drops to a certain point where it just trips everything. And then you get this cascading effect because of the centralized European power grid. And it just shows you that all this centralization stuff that particularly Europe is trying to encourage is not the way to go. Things need to be smaller and more decentralized.
And the question is, would that affect us? Because we're usually selling and buying from Europe through the interconnects. So there's a question that could maybe affect us as well.
In theory, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, our grid, and a few days after this whole thing happened, there was this Labour announcement from Miliband and Rayner that they're going to force all new build houses to have solar panels on them. So
I think that's already enforced in Scotland.
Yeah, you would hope these idiots would learn, but they never seem to. Anyway, let's move on, because otherwise we'll just keep ranting about this one.
So here's a public service announcement about halfway through the show. Would you blindfold yourself and eat whatever someone fed you? No? Then stop letting the media do it to you.
That's good advice. Or just come and listen to us every Friday.
Exactly. Right. Here we go. Mr. MH370. So Ashton, our friend Ashton here goes, every night I wonder about MH370. Why did we zap the plane, then lie to the world about it? It seems so evil beyond comprehension, and no one stepped up at any point to stop it. Crazy what you can justify for national security. What are we going to do? Zap everyone who figures it out?
Should we just move on before you start ranting about Ashton Forbes?
he just will not accept.
Or do you need to get it out of your system?
He won't accept.
You need to have a little bit of a rant.
But he won't accept that this plane's in the ocean. I mean, we have found parts from this plane that are almost conclusively from that plane. They have the same serial number. They have the same font as the Malaysian Airways uses for its stencils. One of the parts that was found had been repainted, and that was on the maintenance record that part had been repainted. This plane is almost certainly in pieces at the bottom of the ocean. And
you have absolutely zero chance of convincing Ashton Forbes about that.
None whatsoever, mate. None whatsoever. The guy's lost it.
Well, he's made it part of his identity. It's his whole thing on Twitter. It's probably he lives and breathes it. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
I know. I just think that we've got to the stage now that I think we need to start reopening mental institutions. I really do. Not just for Ashton.
Look, at this point, our various countries have become giant mental
institutions. Exactly.
So
care in the community doesn't work. It really doesn't.
I don't want to pay to feed crazy people.
Oh, you are, but you are. You're paying to feed seagulls, creatures that are supposed to. You live on the coast. Creatures that are supposed to feed from the sea, and you're feeding them.
They demanded that I feed them. They literally think that fish comes out of tins through windows. So they do know that there are fish in the sea.
Yeah, they do now, mate.
Right, Neuralink.
So this is an advert for Elon Musk, basically. So Neuralink says, if you're someone you love has lost the ability to speak, notice we are not condoning this, and we're not sponsored by Elon Musk. You can sign up for our patient registry today and help shape the future of communication. So he's looking for guinea pigs. He's looking for guinea pigs for Neuralink.
Well, the thing is that from the perspective of people who are disabled and have locked-in syndrome or whatever it was that Stephen Hawking had, or people...
Did he not have ALS or something like that?
Yes, I don't know exactly. The thing is that I'm not in favor of all humans becoming cyborgs, but I think that if we can use technology to make a disabled person's life better, then they should at least be given that choice.
Dave Barnes says, "Does it pay well?" I don't know, Dave. You need to ask Elon. I'm only pointing out that he has an advert out for guinea pigs. But
I don't think there's any money involved.
I don't think so either. If you can't talk, they'd maybe let you be able to communicate. But you can obviously communicate, Dave, because you're on here communicating.
The scary thing about Musk is that he sees the future as all of us being augmented. And instead of sitting here having to move a mouse around the screen, I'll have a Neuralink chip in my brain and we'd all just be communicating like we're in some sort of matrix or something.
And we'll move even less, so we'll atrophy even more. We're literally going to turn into those guys on Wall-E that can't move off their seats.
Or we'll just be like pods in the matrix, plugged in.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
I'm surrounded by idiots. Matthew Stadlin, right? So the headline was school fees leave families on 100k with less than minimum wage. Right. Fair enough. Labour put VAT on private school fees, which I disagree with, right? And I'll give you my reasons if you allow me. But Labour put VAT on private school fees, and then Matthew thinks that because people have sent their children to private school, they're probably well off. Most of them are. Some of them are probably just struggling a bit to try and give their kids a better education or to provide a decent education where none exists in the state school system. But then you forget everything that goes along with these private schools, because these private schools provide education, they provide jobs for teachers and the other infrastructure that goes around the private school, like janitors and maintenance and admin and all that. So there's all that. They take some of the load off the state school system, and the people that are paying the fees to send their kid to private school are still paying the state fee for schools. It's just they're actually choosing to send their kids to another school and having to pay more, right? So why put VAT on private school fees when you're already helping the government out by taking your kids out of the state school system, but still fucking paying for it? That's what pisses me. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I never went to private school, and I don't send my kids to private school. But why? You can't fucking denigrate these people for sending their kids to a private school when they're still paying for the state school system.
Well, it's an indictment of the state school system. Well, it's an indictment of the state school system.
Yes, it is.
Because if the state schools were better, then people, I mean, okay, there's people at the upper end of the spectrum who will just do it, and the extra money is not really an issue to them.
Exactly.
But there are people who are, yes, they earn more than the average, but when you actually look at the percentage of the income that just goes towards school fees, but to me, it's more about why do we actually need private schools? Why is there so much demand for private schools? Because the state school system is rubbish.
Yeah. And
simple as.
And it gets even better, right? Because the government's working their maths, if you will, probably done by Rachel from Complaints. Their maths is wrong. And it turns out that by putting VAT on school fees for private education, it's costing the government more to provide the state places that are now needed for the kids that have been pulled out of private education.
Yeah, and
so
it's putting more pressure on local school
there we
systems
go.
as well.
Bingo. It costs the taxpayer more. Well done, Keith. Well done.
Well, but that's so many of their policies. It's like the non-domicile tax thing.
Yep.
Has ended up costing 10 billion more than. It's like the tax receipts are actually down because
but it's
people
fair.
are leaving.
It's fair. It's fair now. That's okay. It's fair now, you know. And this is what people think. Because it's fair, that's okay that we actually have to spend more money. People are stupid, mate. They really fucking are. You know? And it's like, you know as well as I do, as soon as you put fucking wealth taxes on, the people with the most money leave the country. Right? Or they find a way of avoiding that wealth tax, right? Which takes any tax they were paying straight out the system straight away. And every European country, every European country that's implemented a wealth tax, with the exception of 3, have rescinded it because they all lost money. People are just stupid, and but it's okay because it's fair. It's fair.
Have you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. Sorry.
Let's move on. For fuck's sake, how many John rants do we have to put up with tonight?
It's just been that kind of week. Man who had COVID for 290 days dies years later. That's fucking awful, isn't it? I'm all caught up about that. Sean Diddycombe's lawyers claim he may not have been mentally capable of crimes due to drug use. No, I don't think that's how drug use works. I don't think you can use drug use as an excuse for committing crime. Can you? I mean,
no,
hold on a minute. I get pulled over for drunk driving. I'm rozzled out my brain, and I say, well, actually, I shouldn't have been driving because I was so drunk that I didn't know I was driving. So anything I've done while I was drunk isn't really I wasn't capable of committing a crime. That's not going to fly in court, is it? Is it? Is it, Ed?
No, obviously not. Obviously not. I mean, I don't quite know how these two relate to each other, but that's neither here nor there. I just think that this, I mean, it's typical lawyer bullshit. He's got a bunch of highly paid lawyers that are trying to figure out any way that they possibly can to try and get him off. And hopefully it doesn't work.
Oh, good grief. I can't read that out, nectarinas. I appreciate your comment, but I cannot read that out.
No, moving on.
I love it. I saw this and I thought, fuck me, Hillary Clinton's actually got better looks.
Apparently she's turned up without any wrinkles.
That's not Hillary Clinton. That's Sharon Stone.
Right, she's aged.
Yeah.
Still better looking than Hillary Clinton, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought, why is Hillary Clinton looking so good? And all people who voted for Trump are uneducated Americans. Well, thank you, Sharon. Thank you. You're like the brain of the USA, aren't you? What? Here's one for you, mate. This is Kenya. I think it's Kenya. Yeah, Kenya have just announced its new Kenyan-made electrical car, and the people of Kenya have been furious. I don't know why they've been furious. It didn't explain. But apparently this is a Kenyan-made electric car.
Well, electric cars in Kenya are even less useful than they are here because there's even less charging stations. I mean, you could not take one of those things into the Kenyan bush.
No.
And have it last very long.
Look at the fucking state.
That being said, I do encourage countries like Kenya to do as much development and experimentation and stuff as they want to, but they'd probably be better off sticking to internal combustion engines.
You know what they've done there when they built that car? And I can appreciate what they've done, right? Because look at the track on that. right?
Have you seen the state of Kenyan roads?
Yeah. That's what
they're only slightly better than British roads.
But look what they've done. If you think about the problem with a Land Rover was you were always stuck halfway in and halfway out of truck tracks. That looks like it's got the same track width as a truck. So I think that the idea for that is it's going to follow along truck tracks.
Possibly.
I think that's actually quite smart. I'll give them that. Apart from the fact it's electric.
Well, this is the thing. I'm impressed. Apart from the electric part, they need to stop listening to white people. Basically. Oh dear. Moving on.
Right, here we go. Oh. This is one of yours, mate. I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to start.
Me neither. There's only one person that I've ever met who's Swedish that can pronounce any of these names. But yeah, if you ever want to feel how dyslexic feels, then just go to Iceland.
Or to be fair, you could go to Wales.
That's true. the thing about Welsh is that none of the Welsh words seem to sound the way they're written. I think that they created their written language just to screw with English people.
Yeah.
Because there's letters there where the pronunciation is completely different, and if you actually just try and read the word as an English person, and then the Welsh person tells you what the word is in Welsh, they sound nothing like each other.
Yeah, okay. Well, the same thing goes in Scotland, though, because, how would you pronounce, do you remember the store John Menzies?
Yes.
Menzies. You know how that's really pronounced?
How?
Mingies.
Oh, that's like Ming Campbell.
Yeah, that's right.
That MP.
Yeah, and then there's
but that's not. I mean, that's not.
How would you pronounce?
No, you can't touch some of the Welsh.
Yeah, no, I know, but how would you pronounce Milgai?
I've never even heard of it.
Right, so it's spelled Milngavie, Milngavie, but it's pronounced Milgai.
Oh. Again, Scottish people trying to screw with English people.
How do you pronounce?
And I can't say I blame you.
How do you pronounce Greenock? And that's spelled exactly like it sounds. Green and OCK. And all English people I've ever met have said Greenock. And no, it's pronounced Greenock, exactly how it's fucking written. But anyway. Right, shall we move on?
Yes, next up.
Meghan Markle says she doesn't read the news about herself and sees maybe 1% of articles about her. Maybe 1% of what's in the world I would see, and only if it's brought
no.
to
Hang
me.
on a sec. No, I'm sorry. No, I clearly remember there being something in the contract that says I'm refusing to talk about Meghan fucking Markle.
I don't think we have a contract, mate.
Why is there even a slide with Meghan Markle on it?
Because she's a Fruit Loop. Because nobody's talking about her, so she only sees 1% of what's said about her because she's seen 100% of what's said about her because nobody's talking about her. She's a narcissistic little troll.
And Harry's now complaining that his father's not answering his calls and he can't come back to the UK because they're refusing to pay for his security, and so his kids will never come back to the UK. Look, I mean, seriously. Just, I think Harry needs to sort his relationships out, and this one is just poisonous.
Yeah. Well, Harry should never have gone down that route. Maybe he should go and ask his real dad if he'll pay for the security.
Allegedly.
Oh, good. I think I've used this tweet before, but I saw it today and I thought it's quite funny. You know, shit's about to get real when next door's dog puts its trailers on. Right. Now, the next one's quite disturbing. And I thought this was meant to represent, I think this was meant to represent some lefty liberal having a go at Trump, you know, like working out. But it actually looks quite sexual, doesn't it? I don't think that's conveying the image that they really wanted.
What the fuck am I
It's a
looking
pillow.
at?
It's just a.
No, it's a pillow, and I know
it's a
that's supposed to be AOC in a
Yeah, I think she's meant to be venting her frustration.
mid-coitus. I mean,
well, actually, maybe I shouldn't be showing that. I don't know. Anyway, right. So the Daily Mirror
you're gonna
said,
get done for porn if you're not careful.
"Yeah, I know. Women warned not to put ice
this
lollies."
comes up every bloody year.
I know it does. Not to put ice lollies in their foo-foo in order to cool off in hot weather. Well, it was something else last year. It wasn't ice lollies. It was something else.
I think it was ice lollies last year as well.
Oh,
so it's pretty much ice lollies every year, and I've never met
a girl that's ever done it. Yeah,
dumb enough to actually do something like that. given the sensitivity of female private parts, I think most women are clever enough to know that they should not be sticking fucking ice lollies in there.
Yeah. Next. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you saw this?
Post turtle.
Well, possibly, but mine was do not use the middle exit.
I do have a large number of questions about how the bus. I mean, how did
I'm just wondering, right? I'm just wondering if the bus was put there to use as a bridge, because both the back door and the front doors are open.
It's a pretty effective bridge.
Yeah,
and you'd
because
have the middle door for the drunk ones that thought they'd got to the end and ended up in the river. That'd be quite fun too.
There's no way you're going to get how did that bus get across that without ending up in the river?
I don't see that. That's the thing, because buses. I mean, it would have to be moving. At the very most, you'd think it would get to it wouldn't be nice and flat across the banks. You'd have the front of the bus would be slammed into the other side of the river, or it would have just been in the river because it flipped it and turned. I have a lot of questions.
I have a lot. I think that might have been placed there. Either that or it's a fake photo. To
be honest, if you have a spare bus that's broken down and is no longer suitable as a bus, and you have a piece of river that, I don't know, maybe it's connecting to a school or something where you want people to be able to get across. I guess you could use one. You could use it as a bridge. That's to be honest, that is the best explanation I've heard for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually just came to me there.
Well, no, you just don't see how you could get a bus perfectly positioned like that without a crane.
I don't see how you could either. Right, we're on the last slide, mate. I don't know how we got there so quickly. But here we go. You know, you've got a wingman that you can rely on when he takes one for the team. This is beyond the Call of Duty, isn't it?
Okay.
Right.
That's so not funny.
Oh, I thought it was funny. Right. Okay. Confused you have been. Would you want to talk about anything else? So Matt on the vertical chat says private school is like hunting, appeasing the left without doing anything too structural. But doesn't hunting appease the right? And doesn't private school appease the right? Oh, do you mean like putting VAT on the, or do you mean like putting VAT on the fees? I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Let's have a look and see if anything crazy has happened since we were on.
Since we went on.
Yeah, because every show we seem to finish a show, and
something mad's happened.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything particularly crazy.
Yeah, I think. Let me check. There might have been something that came up earlier.
Oh, right. No, we've had so Marco Rubio, this is about the German spy story that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So Marco Rubio posted on X, Germany just gave its spy agency new powers to surveil the opposition. This is not democracy, it's tyranny in disguise. What is truly extreme is not the popular AfD, which took second in the recent election, but rather the establishment's deadly open border migration policies. And then the German Foreign Office replies saying, this is democracy. This decision is a result of a thorough and independent investigation to protect our constitution and the rule of law. It is independent courts that will have the final say. We have learned from our history that right-wing extremism needs to be stopped. Oh, dear. It's just...
Right. Yeah, okay, well, whatever, Germany. That's outrageous. I'm gonna play a little out. Where's it gone? Where's my outtake gone? Oh, good. Sometimes I despair. I really need a producer. Right, yeah, here we go. I'm gonna play a little outtake from yesterday for people that didn't hear it. While I was doing a voiceover for yesterday's what's it called? The story that went in front of the rabbit hole yesterday. So I'm going to play this little outtake. Here we go. But would this be his last vigil? Fuck off, Ed. That was you when you sent me the message and I said, fuck off, Ed. You know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Well, that's what happens when, I think everybody who gets a message from someone when they don't want one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not my bloody fault. If you're going to record something like that, put your phone on silent, dickhead.
See, when I put my phone on silent, for some reason, WhatsApp messages still go ping. Why is that? Can someone help me out here?
For God's sake, you haven't got me as a priority contact on there, have you?
I doubt.
Because that'd be really stupid.
I don't think I have priority contacts. Should I?
Right. Well, because in WhatsApp, you can actually specify that certain contacts can break through. I've got my phone set up, so if work tries to get in touch with me, that it'll get through whether the phone's on silent or not.
All right.
It's worth checking.
Yeah, I'll do that. Right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Can't think of anything. We basically covered the craziness.
Yeah, I think we have, mate. I think we've covered.
There's a whole bunch of stuff we decided we're not going to talk about because it's all subjects that will get the channel into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
we've done an hour and a half, so we can let our wonderful audience go to bed if they want to.
Yeah, I think we've done a bit. We've done our bit, and remember, if you ever wanted to drop me a little something this week or next, because it's my birthday.
It's his birthday on Monday.
Public holiday for you can have a public holiday on Monday because it's my birthday. Am I good to you guys? See, there you go. You'll get an extra long weekend because it's my birthday. There you go. Right. Okay. Should we change the all-in outro? Because should it be different from the intro? You tell me, people. You tell me, or Ed.
I quite like the outro being the same as the intro because it's the all-in. It means the weekend started.
Cool. Right. Okay. And with that, then, it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. to the face, and I wanna get lost. I'm sick of this place, don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I